The Thompson Fellowship is named after one of the long-term Langley directors, and it was felt that it was an opportunity to infuse new ideas into Langley from around the U.S. or even around the world. So it turned out I applied for the fellowship to go to Berkeley the first time, thinking that I could take all this new technology from Silicon Valley and bring it back to Langley. Unfortunately, I was the runner-up that year, but the director called me and said it was so close that you're a shoo-in for the next year. So go ahead and reapply, and it should be a shoo-in. Well, in the process of reapplying, I was up in Boston at a meeting, a meeting with the Berkeley contact, Ed Wilson. And when I was checking out of the hotel, and then I was going to see Ed at a session that was going on in the meeting, just after I checked out, they had my name, and I had said my name, and a gentleman behind me said, "That's an interesting name, it must be Norwegian." I said, "Yes, it is." And then he said, "Well, I'm Paul Bergen, and I'm from Norway, from the university in Trondheim." I said, "Oh, that's interesting." He said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I have to hurry to go and see Ed Wilson for this fellowship." And he said, "Oh, Ed, I know him. He was my professor at Berkeley, and I got my PhD there." And he said, "Why would you go to Berkeley if you're working at NASA?" I said, "Well, there's this wonderful fellowship." He said, "Well, are you sure you want to go there? Ed has lots of postdocs working with him, and you're not going to get a lot of time. I have a better idea." He said, "Why don't you come and work with me in Norway at the university? We have real large-scale offshore structures, the biggest in the world, and he told me all the good things about that. So the long and short of it was, he convinced me, why don't I just go over to apply to go to Norway instead of to go to Berkeley. Well, when I came home, I had his business card, and I showed it to my son. I said, "Look at Paul. I have a son called Paul," and it was Paul Bergen. "Look at how they spell Paul with a A with a circle on top. It's kind of weird." And he said, "Yeah, that's kind of cool." He was like second grade or first grade. And I said, "Well, how would you like to go to Norway?" to my two boys. And they said, "Oh, yeah, go for it." So I went through and applied, and in the process got involved in this large offshore structure, not only with De Norske Veritas and the university, and they treated me as part of the team, gave me all their software, which I brought back to Langley and we've used for nonlinear analysis. So that kind of was an unusual situation. I did talk to other people who had gone on fellowships and found out it was a wonderful opportunity, probably one of the best of my life, and it does open doors so you can see things from other perspectives, which I think helped me in my career at Langley.